Welcome to the CEC podcast, episode number 6.
Or 7.
Or 7.
if that's the case, you know what? I want to use the or 7 for next week.
Or 7 for next week.
Or 7. That just came to my head. I don't know why I did it that dramatically. Oh man.
All right.
Delirium.
Well, anyways, we had a specific topic we wanted to discuss that's kind of, I guess, personal to us. Would you say that? Or what's the best way to phrase this? Or
we both have unique there's a how do you phrase this? He gave it to me because he couldn't do it. Now I'm sitting here trying to do it. It's like,
anyways, it's about the recent, I guess, constant bashing. It's been happening to
male critics.
In some of them, white male critics.
Yes.
Specifically.
So he's getting double attack.
Yes.
And I'm just getting that one good.
Yes. So recently, well, we'll start off on the lighter note, and that one's with the what's the new John Travolta movie? Gotti.
Oh, Gotti.
Gotti going after pretty much all critics. So that one we'll dip our toe in a little bit with.
Yeah, we'll start off in the kiddie pool before we go into shark-infested waters.
Yes. So with if you haven't heard the news, Gotti is sitting on with a Rotten Tomato score. I believe at the moment it's still 0% critic score, with about 65% last I checked audience rating, which is very, very obvious that it's bots, mostly bots, because there are still a lot of humans in there that are leaving very negative reviews, and some of them well written, and some of them in very broken English, negative reviews, or positive reviews for 5, like literally 5 stars. One of them 5 stars, and the comment said, what was it? Like, I forgot my movie pass password. It's like, okay, what are you leaving as a review?
What are you here for, man?
Yes, what are you here for?
Why did you leave that here? This is not the movie pass customer service line.
5 stars, and I forgot my movie pass password was one of the comments on there. It's probably still there. But yeah,
that's desperate.
So, anyways, if you on their Twitter, and I believe they even released a trailer now, where it talks about ignore the movie critics that are trying to take this movie down. Check out the movie that audiences are loving, Gotti, something like that. I think that's how they're campaigning it right now.
That's sad, desperate. Audiences love it. We put tweets in our commercials.
Yeah, so
that's how you know a movie's going to suck.
Yeah,
when you first see the first commercial for it. And you read these things like, oh, that sounds good, but then you read it's like Dragon Slayer 35 wrote this now.
Right.
Oh, you're reaching in the barrel now. Okay,
yeah.
I see what this is.
Yep. But yeah, that's pretty sad. Whenever movies with that have, like, I don't know how if they've watched this movie and believe that this was a good movie. I haven't seen it, so I can't honestly.
I can't
give you
my
yes.
No.
I can't argue for it or against it. I know I was sort of looking forward to it, but I was extremely concerned whenever it had been tossed around by about 3 different studios.
Oh yeah, that's never a good sign when studios hot potato with the. Speaking of hot potato, that's gonna be the next movie.
Hot potato.
You had Game Night Tag and then Hot Potato, but Hot Potato is gonna be a grenade. Because they got to up the ante because it just can't be be a game of hot potatoes.
Yeah.
Ooh, speaking of Rotten Tomatoes, just Jurassic World fell a little bit.
It was at like 40 or 60 earlier.
Yeah, now it's at 53.
53. Wow. That's concerning.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so now we're going to dip a little bit further into that. River of controversy.
Yes, we're gonna go swimming now, boys.
All right, and this one has to do with Brie Larson. The Oscar-nominated actress from Room is asking for more diversity among film critics, a profession she said is dominated by older white men. That doesn't sound too bad, technically. It doesn't sound too bad.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go a little bit deeper into this one. While accepting a Crystal Award for Excellence at the Crystal and Lucy Awards, she used her time to criticize the critics who panned A Wrinkle in Time. Here's the quote, guys. "I don't need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work about A Wrinkle in Time," said Larson. "It wasn't made for him. I want to know what it meant to women of color, biracial women, to teen women of color." That's her whole quote. So I wouldn't mind. I can see on the surface, if she had just left out, "I don't care what old white men or white dudes have to say about the movie. It wasn't for them." If she left all that part out, that would have been fine. Like I said, I'm not like pro anything as far as like racial or anything. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah. Because you say,
I don't know what to say.
Because when you say it the wrong way.
I don't want to say it the wrong way.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it the wrong way.
Basically, what you try to say is you see her point about her talking about how it
meant to these people.
Well, yes. How it meant to these people, yes, but the whole just attacking the 40-year-old white people for white male thing, it was like, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
like it's like that was kind of just a random shot at someone.
Right. I'm not even 40 yet, but still. Still got a few years left till I'm there, and yeah. I would like to enjoy movies.
Yeah, I'm getting there closer than you are.
Yeah,
I turned 32 so that's Sunday.
Oh man, yeah. Happy early birthday.
Yeah. Ate away.
But, and just from a filmmaking standpoint, we reviewed this movie before, and I defended the good parts of this movie, but I also defended the bad parts. There was a pretty badly made movie.
Yeah, and you're not the only one to say this from all walks of life.
Right. It was a poorly made movie, and it was over. I know a lot of people were trying to walk that line of being politically correct with how they reviewed the movie, and they didn't want to bash it too hard for some things that were pretty major mistakes in this movie. But that's not what we do in this show.
Yeah, the mistakes were made. We got to talk about it.
Yeah, we talk about them, and we try to be. We are polite about it, but we're not politically correct about it. Is what it is. I think we're
pretty politically correct.
We're pretty politically correct, but we're not.
We just didn't flat out give the movie a middle finger.
Yeah, we don't do that. Well, maybe for the Johnny action.
I was very close. I was very close for that. That movie really did something to me.
Right. But like I said, when we review movies, we review every movie equally.
Mm-hmm.
We don't try to soften it up. We don't base our opinions on movies off of politics, is what it is.
No, we just review the movies as they are.
Right. We don't try to worry if their message is more, if they focus more on their message than they do on their story.
Yeah,
that's where we have a problem.
Yeah, but if it's like a perfect example of a movie I talk about, like when we review Black Panther,
right?
The message of the movie was there,
yes,
but it was woven very well into the
well-made story. Yes,
so it didn't feel like, it didn't feel like that. It actually felt like we would actually watch the movie where these points mattered.
Right.
And like hit how these two opposing sides clash over these ideals and how it led to all that happened.
Right. Because we're in a time right now where politics is seemingly more popular than sports.
Yeah. C-SPAN is getting them ESPN numbers.
Yeah, ESPN is covering politics. So
yeah, it's like what a weird timeline we're in right now.
So it's no surprise where every movie, anytime a movie is getting made, they want to come out with a headline like all women Ghostbusters, or all women Ghostbusters, all women Ocean's 11, all women Lord of the Flies, something like that. Yeah, they're making that.
How would that work?
I don't know. Like I'm saying, they're coming out with their political message. I don't know what you would call it. Their political headline before their story is even made.
And they're trying to get the buzz behind the movie based on the fact that look what we did with it.
Yes.
More so than actually just saying, "Oh, we're making a new Lord of the Flies."
Yeah.
Like ooh, female Ghostbusters, which I have no problems with that if the movie's good.
Right. But they, like I said, we did review Ocean's 8.
You did.
Yeah, I reviewed Ocean's 8. I didn't think it was a bad movie, but it was definitely a lot of retreading from the Ocean's 11,
12, and 13.
Yeah, 11, 12, and 13.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't an absolutely original story, is what it was. But that shouldn't. They get mad whenever people complain about them saying an all women Ghostbusters and all women, like a gender. When they get mad when people complain about a gender swap, but they don't. Usually, it's hard. I'm trying to say this properly. The movies usually suck, and has nothing to do with the women.
No, it doesn't.
It has a lot of it to do with the fact that they focus so much on a progressive marketing campaign
that they forget to make the movie.
Exactly.
Like that's why it got me kind of. They're like riding the train of look what we did. Like again, they're like look what we made.
Right.
Instead of look what we made.
Right.
And then they're like, look at what we did with it. As actually is supposed to look what we actually did with it.
Exactly.
I will admit that Ghostbusters Answer the Call, which is the full title for that movie now.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
so it doesn't have any confusion with the original Ghostbusters. When they released it on Blu-ray, they retitled it Answer the Call.
Answer the Call. Okay.
So that's the title for it going forward. But when they made Answer the Call, myself, when I watched it, I had no problems with it.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. It's a fine little Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah, I have no problem with them switching genders for these movies. What I have a problem with is if that's the only thing that they...
That's the hook and that's it.
Yeah, that's the hook and that's it. Like, look, we changed genders, but okay, but you didn't come up with a story.
So what's the story? Oh, it's Ghostbusters 1.
Yeah.
So it's a remake.
Yeah.
With women. But it's still a remake.
Yeah.
It's a remake with different characters playing the same roles.
Yeah, which kind of hurts their whole what they're trying to go for.
Yeah, you could have gone a completely different direction.
Yeah, so I don't like that because like I said, it hurts what they're trying, their message or their political stance, I guess.
And these comments is going to be really spicy. I can just
their political argument is hurt whenever muddled.
Yes,
is muddled with their faulty
by
material.
By not making a good movie that supports this message, it kind of it damages the message.
And that goes with any political message. If you're going to put out some faulty material or a bad movie or something like that, with
Suburbicon tried that.
Yeah,
Suburbicon, like you talked about in our review for that. By the way, check that. Camera's over here. I don't know why I'm looking at it like. Check that review out. They try to add a message about the racism element going on in that movie, and it just kind of
or Tomorrowland, with a very heavy-handed environmental message in that one.
And Archie wants to say hello to me right on camera. Say hey. Yeah. Or did you see him peeking his head up? There he is.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean. Try to actually come up. Just try it for one time. Do an all-women cast, but don't let that be a big deal. Just focus on a story where that kind of thing works for the story.
Well, Girls Trip did that.
Yes, exactly. Girls Trip was a great movie.
It is,
and they didn't make a big deal about it.
No, it was just a bunch of women hanging out on a girls trip. But it was a good movie because that's all it was about.
Well, Jada Pinkett made a big deal about it because it didn't get nominated for any Oscars, but it wasn't an Oscar movie. So I don't know.
Well, I guess her criticism was that Bridesmaid got it.
Yeah, Bridesmaid got it.
Yeah, so I guess that was her criticism.
Yeah.
We pretty much made a Bridesmaids movie, but you know, what do you want, Archie? What do you want?
But anyways,
why are you trembling?
Right,
it's like summertime. It's not cold. Go on down.
All right, but anyways, yeah, that's the same right now. Mindy Kaling, I think she wrote like an op-ed for something where she was complaining about white male critics bashing Ocean's 8. Like I said, I didn't give it the best rating, but I did give it a good rating and off of what was good about the movie.
Yeah.
And none of it had to do with the fact that they were women.
No, none of it. It was just it was like you said, story issues, pacing issues, stuff like that. Stuff that you would ding any movie about.
Yeah, and that's for most of the critics that I follow. Those were their criticisms also. None of them were bashing it because they were women.
Mm.
So I don't like when people use this kind of argument because it hurts. One, it hurts their argument.
It hurts their argument because it wasn't. But it's what they're trying to say is, oh, you didn't like my movie because it was all women, whereas opposed to, if you look at other reviews where they said the same thing, it's like they reviewed our movie fairly.
Yeah, and this isn't me saying that there's not legitimately people out there that are bashing this because they are women.
Yeah, I'm not.
Those people do exist.
No, those people do exist, and they suck for doing that.
Yes.
What we're also saying is not everyone is doing it for the reason you claim they are.
Yeah, but like I said, it hurts your argument and it makes you sound like that you don't know how to argue. Even know what you're arguing is what it sounds like because you don't have the real evidence for it.
Yeah,
it's uncalled for.
Yeah, these comments are gonna be real good. As soon as this video hits, our YouTube Studio app is gonna be like, bing, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah,
and we're gonna be like, maybe we made it, boys.
I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. It just bothers me when people use their politics to argue over their crappy movie. Right? And I guess I don't want to call it a crappy movie because they weren't that bad, but you are making me think that the movie's crappy now because of your attitude about your negative reviews. Because I think one of the things she said was she's built her success off. She's even said she built her success off of these white male critics. Well, and then at the same time, then knocking them down because some of them thought that the movie wasn't that good. I don't know.
I don't get it, but it's not as we're just two dudes on the couch talking about it.
Yes.
We're not insiders. We're not think tank dudes. We're just two dudes.
But we're part of the real world. They live in their bubble where politics is something normal to talk about.
Yeah.
Where us in the real world, we just want to see a good movie. We don't care who's in it.
Yeah.
We kind of care who's in it, but
yeah, because for that reason, that's why
we don't care what gender they are. We just hope that they're playing a great character.
Yeah, like certain actors, you're like, ooh, why are you in this movie?
Yeah.
like when they announced that Kevin Spacey was doing that Billionaires Boys Club movie, everybody's like, ooh.
Right.
He's coming back kind of soon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, like, certain actors is like, ooh, you don't need to be here at all. But sometimes it's like, okay, I'll give you what you get. I see what you're working with.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we so... you and I we have our own political opinions. We try not to bring too much of them onto here, but I think we're both pretty politically sound enough to where we don't use our politics to bash people.
No.
So that's why, like I said, us in the real world, we don't really do that.
No.
Aside from maybe what we both have relatives on Facebook that we probably wish we can mute.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, there's always there's always those outliers out there.
Yeah. But they're, like I said, we I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't like when people use their politics to bash other people.
No,
especially like whenever they can't just take the criticism anymore. if that's what they're gonna use that argument for every bad movie from now on, especially if they are message that they think that is so important. It's like, yeah, your message is important, but your movie wasn't. So
it was cool that you tried it, but you failed.
Yes.
You tried, but
like I said, I have no problem with a message being in a movie because, like, a Mother had a pretty important message and it had a really original story to go with it. It was I can't think of any more now. I'm blanking on any other movies. What any other movies that had an important message that actually worked? Besides Black Panther. Black Panther.
Zootopia.
Obviously. Yeah, Zootopia. Zootopia had some really good important messages in it, and pretty much anything Pixar has some pretty good important moral messages. So much political messages.
Yeah,
but
like Inside Out was pretty much was like emotions matter, emotions are important, and emotions can change.
Yeah,
and that's called humanity.
So even Eli Roth with Death Wish had a pro-gun message that wasn't so much heavy-handed, or that he didn't try to use that to. Probably wasn't a good time for him to even try to use that as a pedestal for his movie.
Yeah, Death Wish just had some poor timing around that, and that was unfortunate for that. That was just like,
yeah,
they're like oh yes, the remake of Death Wish. What? That happened? Oh no.
Yeah. So pretty much every movie's gonna have a moral message or a political message somewhere in there, but you can't let that be what you're trying to sell your movie off of, and then blame other people for blame people for disagreeing with your message, even though they probably didn't.
They just didn't I understand the message you were going for, but everything looked like it was shot on an iPhone, a crooked iPhone at that. So no. I gotta take points off for the cinematography. I understand the message, but the cinematography was trash.
Yes.
Like, props up somebody sitting here now, like, yeah, I agree with what they're saying, but he's off to the right a little bit more than he needs to be, so F that guy.
Yeah. Like for me, when I didn't like Call Me By Your Name, I made no secret that I was one of the few people that didn't like that movie. But I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it because of the message that was in the movie or what was going on in the movie. I just didn't like that it was a boring movie, and
the movie was
it was kind of empty. It was an empty movie. There was nothing really there. I got that that it was well acted. I got that it was well shot. I liked that the setting was great, but the story there was no story there. And nothing for me to really glom onto that I was going to make me want to ever watch that movie ever again. But yet I got called a homophobe for it, for not liking it. Like, dude, it's like
really, bro?
I was like, Love Simon was one of my favorite movies of this year. And
did you not watch anything did you not hear anything I said about this movie?
Yeah.
I didn't say one thing about the elements of the movie. I talked about the technical sides of things. But, they hear what they want to hear.
So, but the message is so important. It's like, okay, whatever, but your movie sucked, all right?
Yeah, it's important that they had it. The message was important. Your movie was trash, though. It almost put me to sleep.
I think people just think that that their message and that they're changing the world with their movies when really they're not. They're focused so much on what their mission is and not so much on building a story that people can relate to. Yeah,
they just be like, look at what controversial subject we're talking about today.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, you're talking about it, but was it good though?
It's like whenever I said I can barely watch award shows anymore because every single speech is they're preaching some kind of political message or something, or they want to bash somebody or bash half of the country for something. It's ridiculous, and it separates us, especially Ocean's 8. Everybody could have probably enjoyed that movie, but then you want to separate your audience by blaming white men for not enjoying your movie.
Mm-hmm. Like, for example, I imagine this is going to really rip the America apart when a certain movie comes out later this year.
Oh, Black Klansman.
Oh, hey, how did you know? I'm actually looking forward to the Firestorm.
Yeah, that one's
I got it's almost like Fallout's coming early. Yeah. I got my gas mask. I got my Nuka-Cola on standby because the Fallout's going to be great.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a popcorn to the end of the world. Like, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, that's why it's one of the reasons. Like I said, why the only show I can watch is the Oscars usually, and this last Oscars was the least politically charged, I guess, Oscars that I've ever seen in my life, probably at least for the last 10 years, which was made it enjoyable. If you've been watching this channel for any period of time, you probably saw our live stream. Oscars. I doubt you because nobody was watching.
No, you probably watched the tape,
a couple people
the tape version.
Yeah, just the tape version.
Yeah,
there were a couple people watched it, but not a lot.
No.
But yeah, that was fun, and I knew that it was supposed to be the least politically charged one. There was a few little tiny things, but they weren't stuff that would separate anybody. It was stuff that everybody should agree on, which was good.
Yes,
not like Robert De Niro did last week. Did you hear what he did at the Tonys?
I heard what he did.
Yeah, it's pretty. I like I said, it separates the people whenever you say stuff like that, and also it wasn't articulate. He had no. He says that every single time he's in the news, but he doesn't have a point to it. He doesn't. I don't know where he exactly. I obviously know he leans to the left, but I don't know what his causes are. I don't know what he's fighting for. What his point is.
I think his point is that he doesn't like him as a person, regardless of political affiliation. Regardless of he probably didn't like him before he was president. That's
probably what it is.
So it's probably a situation where he's never liked the man, and now that he's like everywhere, he's like, I really hate this man.
But you can't call him brave for doing that at the Tonys because everyone there probably thought the same thing.
Yeah. But you see, Robert De Niro is the kind of guy who will do it anywhere.
Right.
They brought me on stage. I'm gonna do it. You bring me on stage somewhere else, I'm gonna do it again. And that's just what it is.
If you want to know somebody that gave a great speech yesterday or the day before yesterday. I think it was. When was the MTV Movie Awards? Was it yesterday?
Monday.
Chris Pratt. If you check out his acceptance speech, it had some great messages in there, and it brought everyone together. And it was brave because he spoke about his faith.
Yeah.
Right there on stage in front of an audience of probably majority atheists or people that don't agree with him.
Necessarily believe, yeah.
But he got a lot of people clapping that maybe wouldn't have clapped for something like that, but because they like the guy. Yeah. He's a likable guy, and he speaks his mind, and it's from what I know, he's a very genuine person.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I like it when people can say things that can motivate people without you do your message, your political message, but don't bash other people if they don't agree with you on something.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's something consequential. Yeah, consequential.
Yeah. Other things, if they believe in it and they are like talking about harm or other things like that, then you gotta fight them on that. But, yeah, you gotta. But on non-consequential things, just walk away.
Right. And like I said, if your job is to be in the entertainment business, try to bring people together. Don't try to separate people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, this comment section is gonna be on fire tomorrow.
Yeah.
we're just gonna open up YouTube and we're just gonna see flame emojis everywhere. Like, gotta put this fire out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with that we should end it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think this comment is gonna have a lot to chew on.
Yeah, I'm gonna have fun editing this one.
Yeah. How do we not come across as sexist and or racist?
As far as I know, we're safe.
We told that line tonight, though.
But that's you don't actually have to have you don't actually have to say anything to be called that nowadays, though. All you had to do was mention it. You didn't actually have to state your opinion, or even if you don't even have to believe in that thing, and you can get called it nowadays.
Yes.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but let's end it now.
Yeah, I can hang. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it on the air. Never mind. We'll talk about it. All right, guys. Until next time. This was the Champs Entertainment Channel podcast. We just call it the CEC podcast. So I don't know why I said it the long name, but that's what CE stands for. In case you didn't know.
Yes.
And we will.
Just a reminder: the box office predictions, or BOP, as we're going to call them this moment forward, coming back next week.
Yes.
Who will be the champ
on the Movie Champ show?
Yes.
All right, guys. We will. Let me go ahead and put up the end card. Make sure you check out our most recent episode of the Movie Champ show. Check out our most recent movie reviews, and make sure you like and comment and subscribe to this channel.
Yes,
guys. And we will see you next time.
Peace.